The verse is describing the blissful state of dreamless sleep in which both Iswara and Prajna consciousness exist and enjoy happiness. This state is characterized by a subtle function of ignorance that is illumined by consciousness. This is supported by the Sruti passage, which states, Prajna, the enjoyer of bliss with consciousness for its aid, is the third aspect. The blissful state of dreamless sleep is further evidenced by the experience of a person awakening from it, who often remarks, I slept happily, I did not know anything. And so that the Vedantic Acharyas explain that in the dreamless sleep state, we experience something, which is not just the mere negation of misery and knowledge. This is because ignorance is present and functions in a very subtle form, reflecting the bliss of the Atman. This blissful experience is further supported by the Sruti passage, which states in dreamless sleep, when everything is absorbed, the jiva, overpowered by ignorance, attains the state of happiness. It is also explained that the jiva derives their perception in all states only through consciousness or intelligence, which is the essence of the Atman. This is why a person awakening from dreamless sleep often remarks, I slept happily, I did not know anything, as the memory of this experience remains. And so this verse talks about the fact that ignorance, both in its aggregate and individual forms, is ultimately the same. It is like a forest, and its trees, or a reservoir and its water, in that the essence of both is the same. The same concept applies to Iswara and Prajna, which are associated with ignorance. In this verse, the idea is that Iswara and Prajna, both of which are pure consciousness and spirit, are the same regardless of the limiting adjuncts that may be associated with them. In other words, Iswara and Prajna are ultimately the same, and this is supported by a reference to a Sruti passage which states that Iswara is the Lord of all, omniscient, the inner controller, the source of all, and the cause of the origin and destruction of creatures. The verse draws an analogy between the relationship of Ishvara, the supreme being, and Prajna, conscious awareness, to that of the space enclosed by a forest and individual trees, or the sky reflected in different water bodies. Just as the space or sky remains the same despite different enclosures or reflections, Ishvara and Prajna are essentially identical in their core nature of pure consciousness or spirit. The verse cites a scriptural passage from the Mandukya Upanishad to reinforce this point, stating that Ishvara is the Lord of all, omniscient, the inner controller, and the source and cause of the creation and dissolution of all beings. It's important to note that this identity is in terms of their fundamental essence as pure consciousness, and not in terms of their individual characteristics or roles defined by limiting factors or adjuncts. In other words, while they may appear different due to various conditions or states, at their core, they are the same pure consciousness. Thank you for joining us today. In essence, these teachings reveal that both God or Iswara and individual consciousness, known as Prajna, are deeply intertwined. They share the common essence of pure consciousness, even while appearing different due to various conditions. We also discovered that the blissful state of dreamless sleep is not empty, but a subtler form of existence that gives us a glimpse into the true nature of ourself. Stay tuned for more illuminating insights